We're recording now?
Breaking news, astronomers have found at least 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting a small star 40 light-years away. That and much more coming up on Auburn Global. Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News. I'm Matt Stanley. A small chartered plane with 5 people aboard crashed into a shopping center shortly after takeoff from Melbourne's Essendon Airport Tuesday morning, Australian police said. All 5 people on board were killed in the crash. According to a police statement, the 4 passengers were from the United States, while the pilot was Australian. Greg Reynolds DeHaven was on holiday in Australia with his wife Rosemary when he was killed. Texan Greg Reynolds DeHaven was among the passengers killed. His sister Danelle Witch told CNN DeHaven had been going on a golf outing with some friends during a 3-week trip to Australia. He was an awesome guy, she said, describing him as athletic, a marathoner, and a man's man. He was also traveling with his wife, who wasn't on board the plane, Witch said. The new Apple Park in Cupertino will be 175 acres of rolling parkland and one of the most energy-efficient buildings of its kind in the world. The process of moving more than 12,000 people will take over 6 months, and construction of the buildings and parklands is scheduled to continue throughout the summer. Envisioned by Steve Jobs as a center for creativity and collaboration, Apple Park is transforming miles of asphalt sprawl into a haven of green space in the heart of the Santa Clara Valley. Apple Park will be coming in April of 2017. Famine in South Sudan has left 100,000 people on the verge of starvation, and almost 5 million people, more than 40% of the country's population, in urgent need of help. People are already dying of hunger, and another 1 million people are on the brink of famine, UN agencies said. Years of civil war, a refugee crisis, and the collapsing economy have taken their toll on South Sudan since it gained its independence in 2011. Now the UN World Food Program and non-governmental organizations are sounding the alarm, warning that more than 1 million children are suffering from acute malnutrition. Our worst fears have been realized, said Sergei Tissot of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. Many families have exhausted every means they have to survive. The war has disrupted farming and left people with little choice but to scavenge for food to survive. The bodies of 74 refugees trying to cross the Mediterranean to Europe have washed up on the coast of western Libya. Aid agencies believe smugglers may have abandoned them at sea.
These 630 refugees, including 70 women and children, were lucky. They were rescued on Tuesday by the Italian Coast Guard. More than 10,000 people have successfully made the 300-kilometer journey to Italy so far this year.
The Italian Coast Guard expects the number of refugees trying to make the crossing will increase, even during the winter months. China is apparently nearly finished with construction of buildings that could house missiles in the highly disputed South China Sea, according to U.S. officials. Reuters reports the buildings have retractable roofs, and there are nearly 24 structures.
China is apparently nearly finished with construction of buildings that could house missiles in the highly disputed South China Sea, according to U.S. officials. Reuters reports the buildings have retractable roofs, and they are nearly 24 structures. Fox News reports China constructed the structures on 3 islands that are built on former reefs, which already have airstrips on them. CNN reports China responded by reiterating its claim that they have sovereign rights over the islands. Reuters reports the Trump administration has said the building of the artificial islands is illegal. For Sequence Media News, thanks for watching.
Fox News reports China constructed the structures on 3 islands that are built on former reefs, which already have airstrips on them. Astronomers have found at least 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting the same star 40 light-years away. According to a study published Wednesday in the journal Nature, The findings were also announced at a news conference at NASA headquarters in Washington. This discovery outside of our solar system is rare because the planets have the winning combination of being similar in size to Earth and being all temperate, meaning they could have water on their surfaces and potentially support life. This is the first time that so many planets of this kind are found around the same star, said Michael Gillian, lead study author and astronomer at the University of Liège in Belgium. The 7 exoplanets are all found in tight formation around the ultra-cool dwarf star. Estimates of their mass also indicate that they are rocky planets, rather than being gaseous like Jupiter. 3 planets are in the habitable zone of the star, and may even have oceans on their surface. Coming up, you'll hear from Kaylee Bishop with everything happening around the U.S. You're watching Eagle Eye TV on Channel 6.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Hey guys, I'm Kaylee Bishop, and this is U.S. News. President Trump has picked a new national security advisor just 1 week after asking Michael Flynn to resign from the position. Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster has been the director of the U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command's Army's Capabilities Integration Center since July 2014. He is expected to remain on active duty while working with Trump, making him the first active duty military officer in the position since General Colin Powell in the Reagan administration. McMaster is a graduate from the U.S. Military Academy of West Point and has a Ph.D. from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and he has several tours of duty in Germany, Southwest Asia, and Iraq. A month after President Trump's initial controversial travel ban, his administration is doing a rewrite of the order to create a tighter, more streamlined version of the first executive order, according to Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. White House advisor Stephen Miller said nothing was wrong with the initial executive order, dismissing court rulings that called it flawed and erroneous. Green card holders who are considered permanent U.S. residents are expected to be exempted from the new ban. Mexican national killed at border Supreme Court. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court took on the case of a 15-year-old Mexican national who was shot to death at the border in 2010 by a U.S. Border Patrol agent. The shooting was captured on a cell phone video and has sparked outcries since Sergio Hernandez Guireca was unarmed and not on U.S. soil. Guireca's family says he was not playing with his friends near the border when he was shot. The U.S. government says the shooting happened while smugglers were attempting to illegally cross the border and were hurling rocks at the Border Patrol agent. The disputes come from the fact that the agent was on the U.S. side of the border while the boy was on the Mexican side. The case is the first that the Supreme Court has heard during Trump's administration. It comes in the midst of Trump's executive order on immigration and the tensions between the United States and Mexico over a proposed border wall. The case will only be tried by 8 judges, as Trump's nominee judge, Neil Gorsuch, isn't set for Senate hearings until next month. If the judges are split evenly on the decision, they will uphold the lower court ruling that is in favor of the Border Patrol agent. A final ruling is expected by late June. Jewish community centers across the country have been receiving threatening calls since the beginning of 2017, and another wave of bomb threats were called in this past Monday. Former presidential nominee Hillary Clinton called out President Trump on Twitter, writing, "JCC threats, cemetery discrimination, and online attacks are so troubling, and they need to be stopped. Everyone must speak out, starting with @POTUS." President Trump made a statement Tuesday morning while visiting the new National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., saying, "The anti-Semitic threats targeting our Jewish community and centers are horrible and painful and are a very sad reminder of the work that still must be done to root out hate and prejudice and evil." Trump's daughter Ivanka, who converted to Judaism before marrying her husband, said in a tweet, "America is a nation built on the principle of religious tolerance. We must protect our houses of worship and religious centers. #JCC. The Jewish community centers have received a total of 69 threats at 54 JCCs in 27 states since the year began. Conservative controversial public speaker Milo Yiannopoulos has lost a book deal, a speaking engagement, and his job this week after a video was released in which he condoned sexual relations with boys as young as 13 and laughed off the seriousness of pedophilia. His controversial book, called Dangerous, was under a $250,000 book deal from Threshold Editions, a conservative outlet of publisher Simon & Schuster. The book was at #1 on Amazon in early February, but has dropped to number 84 amidst the scandal. The American Conservative Union also rescinded its offer for Yiannopoulos to speak at its annual Conservative Political Action Conference this weekend. Yiannopoulos was recently protested off of USC's Berkeley's campus when he came for a speaking engagement. He spoke at Auburn in October. On Tuesday, Yiannopoulos made a rare public apology and resigned from his job as editor at Breitbart News, a known conservative news outlet.
Guilty of imprecise language, which I regret. And anyone who suggests, however, that I turn a blind eye to illegal activity or to the abuse of minors is unequivocally wrong. I'm implacably opposed to the normalization of pedophilia, and I will continue to report and speak accordingly. To repeat, I do not support child abuse.
Yiannopoulos is known for making offensive statements targeting Muslims, homosexuals, women, and liberals in his speeches. He said he will continue to speak on any topic he chooses with the same provocativeness and humor he has used in the past. Uber is facing another round of criticisms after a sexual harassment claim by a female engineer, which was released this week. Former Uber employee Susan Fowler recounted in an incident in which she and other female coworkers were asked for sex and other inappropriate behavior by a male supervisor. After reporting the incident with evidence to the company's human resource department, she was told that she could either switch teams within the department or take a poor performance review from the supervisor when the review time came around. Uber has hired former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder to investigate the claims. Uber CEO Travis Kalanick said in a staff email on Monday, "It is my #1 priority that we come through this a better organization where we live our values and fight for and support those who experience injustice." The controversy comes after Kalanick quit Trump's Economic Advisory Council following backlash and the #DeleteUber. In a ruling Tuesday out of Texas, a federal judge ruled that the state is not allowed to cut off funding for Planned Parenthood due to secretly recorded videos taken by anti-abortion activists in 2015. The disturbing videos caused Texas authorities to accuse Planned Parenthood of selling fetal body parts and cut off funding in December 2016. Judge Sam Sparks ruled that the state cannot withhold Medicaid money from Planned Parenthood, saying in his ruling, "A secretly recorded video, fake names, a grand jury indictment, congressional investigations, these are the building blocks of the best-selling novel, rather than a case concerning the interplay of federal and state authority through the Medicaid program. Yet rather than a villain plotting to take over the world, the subject of this case is the state of Texas's efforts to expel a group of healthcare providers from a social health care program for families and individuals with limited resources." Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced he is planning to appeal the ruling, saying, "Today's decision is disappointing and flies in the face of basic human decency. No taxpayer in Texas should have to subsidize his repugnant and illegal conduct." GOP congressional town halls are erupting after visits from Republican members of Congress. Angry citizens are confronting the representatives at meetings about things like the GOP's plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, the executive travel ban order, and the alleged Russian interference with the 2016 election.
These coal jobs are not coming back, and now these people don't have the insurance they need because they're poor. And they work those coal mines, and they're sick. The veterans are sick. The veterans are broken down. They're not getting what they need. If you can answer any of that, I'll sit down and shut up like Elizabeth Warren.
Republican senators are being yelled at and booed for not answering questions directly. President Trump wrote in a tweet, "The so-called angry crowds in home districts of some Republicans are actually, in numerous cases, planned out by liberal activists. Sad." The crowds at the town halls are bringing signs that say agree, disagree, and alternate facts to heckle statements made by their representatives. Many representatives have avoided town hall meetings in the midst of the chaos. After the break, we'll head back to the desk for a discussion of today's hot headlines. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis!
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
Auburn Guides is your guide to Auburn University. You can access schedules, create your own to-do lists, interact with friends, and always get the most up-to-date information. The Auburn Guides app gives access to information on the go so you never miss out. Auburn Guides is available for free on the Play Store and Apple App Store.
10-year-old Lena Draper messaged the Marion Police Department on Facebook with some math problems she was having trouble with. Someone at the department took her question seriously, messaging back answers to the problems, which, ironically, turned out to be incorrect. The police department said in a statement on Facebook, "We do aim to be a full-service department. Maybe we should have mentioned that history was our favorite subject before answering."
So what about you, history or math?
Definitely history.
Oh, definitely me too. There's no way if someone called me, depending on their life, to answer a math problem, I don't think I could. I don't think I could knock it out in time.
I am constantly going to my roommate for math help.
Yeah.
And I never thought to go to 911 for help with my math homework.
I don't know. Sometimes I've thought of doing that. It's become that desperate. Today, Japan is celebrating Cats Day, and feline favoritism is no stronger than on the cat island of Shima, where cats are outnumber humans by quite a bit. We have a quote from Zohanan that says, "Honestly, if someone dropped me off at the cat island in Japan and left me there, I wouldn't be upset about it." And you know, frankly, neither would I.
I'd kind of be okay with it. I've got one cat at home already, and I don't know what it would be to be surrounded by 50 or 100 plus cats at the same time.
It'd either go extremely well or extremely bad.
That's right. Cats have two kinds of moods. They either love you or they want you to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, reactive fashion firm The Unseen has developed hair dye that changes colors based on your environment. With just a breeze of air, hair can move from scarlet red to pastel blonde to raven black and back again. For Harry Potter fans, it's almost like Nymphadora Tonks has come to life. Fitting for a firm that states on its site, "We believe technology is magic."
Wow, that's interesting.
I'm actually okay with that. You know, with an ROTC haircut, there isn't a lot you can do. So actually having my hair color change, I think that'd be pretty neat.
And last, guys, whoever's tuning in, we have a cute little bunny with us here in the studio. Auburn recently has been having a trend on its Snapchat story of a bunny meetup, and we're no different here at Eagle Eye TV. Yeah, I'm so glad that one of our co-anchors brought in their bunny today. Oh my gosh.
I've got no words to say right now. This is too adorable.
Just before we connect on the air, you were saying Easter's right around the corner, right? Maybe we'll get a few Easter eggs.
Yeah, I would love to have this little bunny deliver me an Easter basket. So.
Well, that's all for Auburn Global this week.
Keep up to date with all global news by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Eagle Eye TV.
And don't forget to send us your pictures to discuss via social media. I'm Kaylee Bishop.
I'm Matt Stanley. Thanks for watching, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.